New York Governor Kathy Hochul claims that she is done raising taxes, but a group of unions, left-wing organizations, and Mamdani allies clearly they didn't get the memo because they are pushing for even bigger tax the rich measures, all to help close that city's massive budget gap. But Hochul says enough is enough, arguing that she's already sending over $1 billion to help bail out the city and that it's now up to them to get spending under control. Here's what Hochul had to say when asked about helping New York City and raising more taxes.
I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to say now, because I'm not negotiating the budget here, what the final project will look like. But I think that is a very significant step toward helping them get to where they need to get to, and they have work to do too.
Say no other new taxes reasonably on the table at this point. Is this?
Not for me.
Marcus.
Fly your pants.
So in the tariff conversation, we wanted predictability. Are you getting predictability from people in Albany and in New York City that they have a plan going forward for this city?
She said not from me.
Yeah.
She didn't say not in my state.
Yeah, that was careful.
She was really clever about that.
careful.
And I think she's pandering a little bit, appropriately so, because she needs to right now, but pandering because there's got to be a lot of backlash. No one, I'll say this again every time I come on here, no one's talking about the spending. We just keep talking about taxes and not the reason for the taxes. And I think at some point, regardless of party, people just want to know, where is my money and what is it being spent on? And nobody's asking those hard questions enough.
Well, we know where it is. $80,000 per homeless, right?
Oh,
is
yeah,
what the
that's
city
one
spends
place.
it on. So they're spending that.
Where do they live? At
On the street.
For
Living down by me is
$80,000?
Yeah, for all the other mental health and rigmarole and administration things, it ends up being on average $80,000 per homeless to care for them in and through the system.
When we broke it down, it was like there were crazy amount of administrative costs for people getting paid to oversee these programs, you know, and then Mamdani says, well, they're allowed to sleep on the street anyway. We give them that right. But yeah, that's one place the money's going. His new pet projects are another place. He didn't have enough monopoly money to be able to give the free buses that he wanted to, but he is going forward with these loss-leading grocery stores because he wants to be able to check those off and be able to say to his constituents that he did something. I agree with you. Kathy Hochul endorsed him, and he was transparent about all this. So she was on board, at least when it was good for her, but now she's got an election coming. It's not good for her. So she's saying, well, it's not going to come from me, but she'll flip-flop if she gets back into office, you know, as soon as you can flip a coin. So we're still stuck in the same boat. The problem here in New York and in a lot of other blue states is that these officials are elected in. I respect the system. I respect elections. These are the people that are being elected in here, even if I don't agree with what they're doing. Obviously, there are people out there who A, do agree, or B, don't know better and have to see the devastation that comes from going bankrupt before they figure it out. But this is the way the cookie is crumbling in this state and this city, and we have to live with it. So we have choices, Taylor. We've talked about, you know, you can sit here, you can pay the taxes, or you can leave. If they squeeze people who are staying here now because they say, well, I have to, or I'm not ready to uproot my life, if they squeeze you too hard, you will figure out a way to uproot your life, even if it means quitting your job and trying to find something else to do in a state that is friendlier to you, if it gets that bad.
A lot of it's on autopilot, though. 1/3 of New York City's spending is committed before any services are paid for. It's all in pensions. And not all, but it's about 1/3. And the pensions consume 17% of city tax revenue, and that's double the average portion that it was in the 90s and in the early part of this century. And the problem is also that I did the math. It's almost $1 out of every $4 in pension money goes to out of state, to Florida. So it's not even spent. It's where people who live here pay taxes to fund pensions that then leave. It's all that money's already left town. So
yeah. Brian, I want you to comment on this, and there's another layer to the story because there is another showdown over New York City's homelessness crisis. Residents in the East Village are taking Mamdani to court to try and stop the relocation of a massive men's homeless shelter into their neighborhood. The group that went out in full force to proudly support Mamdani for mayor is now arguing they were blindsided by a plan they say will bring serious safety and quality of life concerns right to their doorstep. Were they blindsided?
Well, they say they were, but I don't see how that's possible. I mean, unless, oh, wait, they didn't think hard about who Mamdani was before they voted for him? Gosh, maybe that was the case. This is mine. I'm down in this neighborhood. This is my neck of the woods. I walk through the East Village all the time. I listen in on the conversations down there. I go into the different shops and I look at the stickers on the wall, and every sticker on the wall is Zoran Mamdani. They love this guy.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, I'm going to put a homeless shelter in there. And all of a sudden, they're like, how could he be doing this? But you know what it is, though? There's so many of them. To your point about people leaving, it's the turnover people in New York City.
Yeah.
It's the people who come here, and they're here for grad school, or they're here for college, and they're living off mom and dad's dime, and they're having a good time, and they vote for Mamdani, and then when it gets a little hot, they're out of here. They're on to their next thing in life. And so maybe it's the old-timer East Village people. I don't know. Maybe they're the ones complaining about this now. I don't know.
You voted for your commie socialist or your socialist commie. You're going to get it, and you're going to get it hard, and you're about to enjoy it. The only thing that doesn't make any sense about the allocation of human resources, so they're moving people. It's the Bellevue Hospital shelter. They're moving them. They're keeping them, the people who use that shelter, because it's in a state of disrepair, they're keeping them close by. Why would you relocate homeless people to one of the most expensive areas, this is valuable real estate? Why can't they have a homeless shelter somewhere else in the city where the real estate is not as valuable? They never maximize the value of the real estate in Manhattan. Because people get up in arms. Actually, the very people who are mad about the homeless shelter usually throw their hands up and say, no, people who live in public housing have a right to live in the most expensive neighborhood in New York City.
Maybe that's why they're doing this.
Until they're homeless.
I think one of the single biggest sources of income for the city is real estate taxes, correct? Do I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you all of a sudden start depressing values, there are law firms that go out there and will contest the tax rate based on the depression of value and the comps that happen. Is he trying to depress the values ultimately?
I mean, he shouldn't, because that's his golden goose, his property values, right?
Well, he doesn't seem to think that, right? Because you start creating all these wealth taxes on big areas in the Upper East Side or in NoHo, wherever the areas are.
Well, you depress them enough, and it makes that East Village
Are you
now
kidding me?
making
He's going
America
to want
affordable
every
again.
single apartment in the city to be valued at $5 million or higher, so that if you don't live there full time, you could tax it. Pied a terre. He wants property values to go way up. That's how you get the pied a terre.
Or he wants to bring them all down, and then everything's affordable for everyone.
I don't think it's. I think you're being sarcastic, right?
He doesn't want revenue from his taxes.
Well, that would be logical. That's what you and I would do. You and I would think like, how do I drive revenue without taxing people? I build value. I get people to come here. I raise tourism. I raise property values. People want to live here. They want to eat here and do all these things. I'm not quite sure that he understands the math of that.
You're probably right about that.